At first glance, you're looking at this picture and wondering, wait, there's something not right. Why is there an Aston Martin car with the Honda logo on it? Well, it might seem a little wrong now, but come 2026, this may very well be a reality if media reports in the world of Formula One are to be believed. That is correct. Honda, a team that has won the last 2 World Drivers' Championships as well as 1 Constructors' Championship and looks set to take both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship come the end of this particular season, will be partnering with a team that is very upwardly mobile, clearly on the rise and on the cusp of breaking into Formula One's elite. That is correct. But why exactly are Honda leaving behind a pretty lucrative deal in many ways with Red Bull? How did the links with Aston Martin come up, and do we think it can be successful? That is what we'll be talking about in this particular video. So without further ado, let's just check in with all the details. First off, it is that Aston Martin, who are currently a Mercedes engine customer, will be partnering with Honda come the 2026 season. Now, it is worth noting that Honda, as of now, are still a part of F1, although not in a fully official capacity because they withdrew from the sport at the end of 2021 when they won the World Drivers' Championship with Red Bull and Max Verstappen with a focus on their road cars division. But since then, they've changed CEOs and they've now had a change of heart. But the funny part is that despite them being out of F1 officially, they still have a deal with Red Bull that ensures that they are the ones who supply Red Bull with engines. And not only do they supply the engines, they're actually making it in their factories, sending it to Honda, Red Bull. It's being assembled by Honda, sent to Red Bull. They're being badged Red Bull Powertrains engines. Of course, this year they're Red Bull Powertrains Honda. That's because Honda has expressed an interest of coming back in 2026. But I guess the question you must be asking is, if Honda had to come back, why would they not come back with Red Bull? It's a great, let's say, partnership that's going really, really well. Wouldn't it just be logical for them to come back with Red Bull? That's where things get a little murky. First off, a Red Bull reunion had been ruled out for one very simple reason, because once Honda established Red Bull powertrains, or once Red Bull, established Red Bull powertrains, they had basically all but lost their need for a full-time engine supplier, because Red Bull powertrains will be making in-house Red Bull engines. So they don't really need to be a customer team or a works customer team any longer. So Honda did want a little bit of involvement, or a little bit more involvement than Red Bull were willing to cede, and Red Bull in fact ended up giving a new deal to Ford, who will be giving a little bit of technical input, but it's largely just a branding exercise. They had also been linked with McLaren, Honda that is, which would have in fact revived a partnership that's seen both highs and lows, but that seems to be done. And that means that Aston Martin right now are the only logical choice, because truth be told, Honda engines are good enough to be winning not just races, but world championships right now. And they would want to be partnering with a team that would be able to fulfill that ambition. The problem is, aside from Red Bull, the other top teams are all works teams. So you have Mercedes, who make their own engines. You have Ferrari, who make their own engines. They'd want to partner with a team who are on the rise and who would also have money to spend. And that is where Aston Martin as a team makes perfect sense. You note for a fact that this year they've been having a much improved showing, and that in fact is what makes this entire deal make so much sense from both parties' perspectives, because again, both for Aston Martin and Honda, this deal, if it does in fact happen, because again right now it is worth stressing it's still just in the rumor phases, well then in that case, if it does happen, it's just going to be a very big thing for the team. But of course you'd be wondering what exactly it is that they could be getting out of this. So it's worth noting that Aston Martin right now are very much on an upward trend as far as the table is concerned. They're right now sitting second in the constructors table, and in a hint of sweet irony, they have in fact are currently sitting ahead of Mercedes, who is the works team and also an engine supplier to Aston Martin. So it's sweet irony for them. And what's more is that Team Silverstone, who have in fact been around for a while. You'd remember that the team that's now Aston Martin can trace its roots all the way back to not just Force India, but even the Jordan team that was suddenly competing for the title in 1999. So this team has been around for a while, but they've always been a solid midfield team. In recent years though, they've been bought by Lawrence Stroll, and they've seen a lot of investment. And the common, let's say, consensus in the world of Formula One is that you need to have a works engine supply. Now, works engine supply, in case you're unfamiliar, basically means that you have let's say an engine supplier who gives you those engines exclusively rather than be a customer team. Because what happens with a customer team, like say right now Aston Martin are taking Mercedes engines. The Mercedes engine is best designed to fit into the Mercedes car. Aston Martin's car might have some different demands, and therefore it makes sense that they merge both the aerodynamic and engine things under one umbrella rather than be a customer team, because of course the additional advantages are that, of course, aside from it fitting the car, it'll be beneficial monetarily because you're not paying another team as much money. There are plenty of advantages, and considering how well Aston Martin are doing right now, a works engine deal might just be the best way for them to continue that upward trend. Of course, right now we don't know how exactly this deal will look because, again, as I said, it's all in the speculative stages. But if you are someone who is a supporter of Team Silverstone in whatever guise has been, Racing Point, Force India, and now Aston Martin Racing, it's hard not to be excited because you're going to be signing with an engine supplier that is probably one of the most successful ones in recent history. So you could very well be fulfilling your dream of competing for world championships once the new 2026 regulations kick in. Of course, things may pan out differently, but as I said, right now, everything seems to be going in favor for this. If I were the rest of the grid, I'd be very wary and scary of just how good this potential combination can be. But that's just how I feel. What do you guys think? You can let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and don't forget to download the SportsTech app as well. Plus, if you're already on the channel, go ahead and check out some other videos that we've done. For now, from my side, goodbye.